All right, welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. Anyways, let's get into it today. So markets here today pushing up basically at the highs, and bears last line of defense kind of breaking here. So I talked about this morning to members, both in the trading room and swing trading, but you're going to see here, and I talked about this yesterday as well in the videos here, but you know, that 7.5 retrace was very important, right? So that's kind of like the last line, and even by extension, you could take a look at 47.75. And, you know, right now, take a look, resistance becomes support here already. And again, we got 30 minutes left in the day, so nothing to say we can't do some backing and filling here, but this was kind of the level your bears had you had the work cut out for you. You had to stop that, and you had to stop this from getting broken, and they did not do that. I pointed this out this morning as well. 4,800 handle on the SPX was going to be a magnet. We almost got up there. I mean, I thought it was a little ridiculous that we could even get that high, but I also thought that 47.50 was a little ridiculous at 10 in the morning Monday, and we not only got there, but we got all the way up to 47.65. So again, Gamma Boys doing their thing here, 0DT squeezing this thing up. At this point, it's likely we're going to make new all-time highs. So, you know, I've been kind of in that base case here for a little while now, but at least here in the short run, it looks like that is inevitable. We did get very close to this little pivot from the 28th. So high of the day was 47.90, spot 80, 47.93, so about 3 points away. And then we have obviously the 4,800 handle. That will be a magnet. And then, of course, 48.18 is the exact all-time high there for the SPX. We do have CPI, and we have jobless claims tomorrow morning. And I think we also have 30-year auction at 1. So there's some things that can move the market around. Again, I'll say it again. You know, this market's going to be kind of buoyant. It's going to be like it's like a buoy, right? You push it down and it comes right back up. It's going to be like that for at least a little bit longer, I think. This is partly January effect, right? Very clear about this last year. So we probably need to pull back maybe first week or so, and then we'll put in a low by Monday or Tuesday of this week. We did that, and then we'll get a January effect rally. I've been very consistent in saying that that's likely the case, and so far that has been, you know, pretty much right on. And you know, at this point, I mean, you're not that far away. We're only 30 points away. Well, 40 now from that new all-time high. Again, the closer you get, the more of a magnet it's going to become. I don't think CPI is going to be that big a deal. I think even if the number is not what the market wants, the algos will buy the dip. That's kind of my thought right now. It doesn't really matter until it does, and right now it doesn't matter. So that's kind of the best way I can put it here. I will say it is interesting from a macro standpoint that CPI is scheduled to uptick again. Core is scheduled to downtick by about 1/10, but regular I think is upticking from like 3.1 to 3.3 allegedly. And it is interesting, right? So if I'm right, and you know, oil does head back to 80, and nat gas just stays in this range or continues higher, what is February, or I should say, what does January CPI look like in February? It's going to be very interesting to see that, because the market right now is pricing in rate cuts by March. If CPI continues to inch up, those odds are likely to go down. So again, this is not anything that will matter tomorrow. It's not anything that should matter as for tomorrow's CPI or in the near term, but down the line, these are things that the market may look at. But right now, market's acting well, and I'm going to give the upside bias at least to 4,800, and then obviously 48.18. Maybe we'll just say 47.20. I lose track of all these damn numbers. 48.25, we'll say, is probably going to be a gamma wall at some point if we get up there. Triple Qs here did hit my target intraday. So we talked about 408.50. Or at least we talked about that in the chat this morning, and I had some members take this up. It's made some nice money there, 75% retrace, gap fill. We got to both of those. And again, you know, this may pull back here. You've got a pivot high at excuse me, 410.23, not that far away, but again, if the market holds up, if the spiders hold up, the Qs will likely hold up as well. Apple, take a look at the bid here, outside move in the afternoon, just kind of sideways, and all of a sudden, bam, call buying, start hitting the tape really hard. I really wish this got down to 178, would have been a nice buy there, but that did come nicely off the lows, and it does look like buyers coming in. Microsoft, Google, Amazon, all leading the chart here today. By the way, took some profits today on Amazon with members, and that is coming in off the highs. As we get towards the end of the day, take a look at Meta. By the way, Meta up 3.6. This is just an absolute outrageous move. NVIDIA has added an AMD or 2 Intels in the last 5 days. So absolutely bonkers moves here for some of these big tech players. I think these are getting really long in the tooth, specifically big tech. Again, right now, I wouldn't fight it, but I think there will be a little bit of a reckoning here. It's just, to me, you're not going to convince me this is big money buying. It just looks to me like gamma squeezing with them exiting out the back door. Same thing goes for Meta too. Again, we'll talk about that when we get there, but in any case, big tech doing a lot of the work. Triple Qs, again, we'll look at 410.23 will be a pivot for tomorrow. Then obviously the all-time high there. Diamond here acting well, up 43 basis points. So again, above the high from Monday, still holding trend, holding the 20 moving average. Again, it does look top heavy, but don't fight it. Not right now anyways. Russell 2000, again, on the softer side, down 15 basis points. Was up, was down, all over the map. Again, it's a big tech day. So we'll leave it at that. This has had a big move. This might even need to do an ABC down at some point here. But right now, Russell's just holding on. And, if the market's, bids up, this will hold up. But definitely a little bit weaker here over the last couple of days. All right, SMH here, still acting well. Just down 14 cents. But again, holding trend, holding the 20 moving average. SOX down 0.5%. But again, no real problems here. Just a retrace to 4,100 like we talked about. And, if this flags or bases, it can have another leg up. So, again, we'll leave it there. IGV continues to be a powerhouse. Take a look at CrowdStrike up again, another 2.8. So that got upgraded yesterday. And follow through there. Cloud software acting really well, up 1.4. We talked about the gap fill. And we talked about the gap window. We hit that today, and now we're through that. And it looks like 405.64. Did we get there? Not quite. So we didn't quite fill that gap there on IGV. Either way, it's not of much consequence, just a little psychological level. And you see the weekly, you could make a case that I know I've complained and bitched about weekly consolidation, but you could almost make a case here that maybe it is just doing weekly consolidation, right? Ever since the 27th of November, it hasn't really gone anywhere. So, you could make a case that it's already been kind of doing that, even though it's kind of made higher highs. Maybe you get another week or so of backing and filling it. Nothing to say it can't continue up. But IGV is still strong there, and again, it remains a strong sector. Dow transports are interesting. Take a look at this morning. Breadth was a lot worse this morning at like 11 a.m. across the board. Transports in danger of breaking down. Hourly just keeps getting saved to that 15.4 area. And nice comeback there. This still has got to get back above 15.6 and ultimately above 15.7, which is where this red bar high is. If you close above that, I think the transports will be safe. We do have airline earnings coming up on Friday. Speaking of which, did take some profits today on Delta. Got out of that one here, and I think they're kicking off earnings with the banks Friday morning. So that will obviously move the transports there. Anyways, interest rates here, not a whole lot to talk about. So let me get over here. There's Bitcoin. Again, flat 2-year. Flat to positive 5s, 10s, and 30s. Again, pattern-wise, though, everybody should know what kind of pattern that is. Does not look terrible. And again, maybe CPI can roll us over one more time. But again, you guys know it. I'm going to say it again and again, but I don't see a lot of downside for yields, and nothing's really changed that. So they're looking okay. And those patterns look all right. XHB, again, speaking of buoys, this thing just, it comes down right back up, right back above the 20 MA. A little bit of supply up in here, this is kind of where you sold off. You had a little doji there, so it might need to stall out. But again, very strong sector, very, very overbought, but it is strong. VNQ pulling back down 1 cent. Won't make too much out of that. That pattern is still okay. XLF flat. as well, and that can still get to 38 and a quarter. KRE still holding up, that can still get to 55, 56, and then KBE, again, still holding up 48, 48 and a quarter for that one as well. Broker dealers did pull back a little bit today. So now for the first time since October, you've got a zigzag of lower high and lower low on the chart. So we never did, and have not made one since October. So now, is this like the end of the world? No, it just could be a little bit of a pullback, a little correction. It's went from 450 to 560 in like 8 weeks, right? So that is notable. But, you know, it is showing some weakness. So take that however you want. Crude here. So that was up a lot more earlier. We had inventories, and that took a pretty good dump right after inventories. Yeah, right around here. Pretty good shot, bear flag, and then right back down to the low. So crude is just still in a choppy range. We'll see which way this breaks. I'm of the opinion that crude is going higher. If we do have a spike down, I don't think it's going to last very long. But oil just hanging in there and tightening, getting really tight. XLE is getting interesting. So I do like this. Not so much at double bottom, maybe a little bit lower, right in this area, this big supply, or excuse me, demand zone. You're actually going to see here on the weekly, this was a bearish inside bar on the weekly, and that failed. That requires institutions. So that's the area I like XLE. XOP, it's a little bit trickier. I'd probably just say 123. That was your big pivot, breakout, reversed, and then that's where we took off. So I'd say 123 for XOP right now. And you guys know my OIH. So this is, you know, what I'm just letting you guys know about right now, right in this area. That's your 280, you know, maybe even a pierce of that. I'd like to get down there soon, but that is a good level there for the OIH. Uranium here continuing higher via the CCJ, up 1 1/4. Trend is still up. Overbought on the monthly, but no problems. URNM finally getting going. Again, just been talking about this bull base here for a long time. So 3, 6, 7 weeks inside. Essentially inside of this green. That's a bull flag, a bullish inside bar on the weekly. And looks like we did basically get to double top. Yeah, 52. And we pierced it by 8 cents. So right now, trend is up. 20 MA, what have I been saying for the last month and a half? You want the 20 MA to catch up to price, and then you can do what? You can go up. And that has happened. But, you know, it is pulling back in off the highs, but nice pop there. For the URNM, Nat Gas did pull back in today again. Had a bonkers move yesterday. That would have been a shocker if it was up again, you know, at least in a big way. But if this consolidates here, it can go higher. Levels I worked out are 360, and then like probably a pierce of 4 would be your next big levels there for NG. Dollar index here. So that's stuck at just stuck in that 102.50 area. Again, everybody should know what type of pattern that is, and it's not terrible. So dollar index is still holding up. Again, market's not bothered right now. The market's telling you it's not bothered by the price action. But if this does push higher, which I do think it's likely, it may even have to come back in a little bit first. We'll see. But pattern-wise, this is still good. You know, this will probably put pressure on the markets at some point, you'd think. But again, right now, the market, it's not. You know, it's not in that place. Time is more important than price. So always remember that. But right now, dollar index holding up, and we'll leave it there. Gold pulling back as well via the GLD into the 50 MA. If you lose that, you've got support right at the, you know, just below 2,000, and then you got the 50, or excuse me, the 200 and 100, and then ultimately this trend line here around 1950, 1955. Silver here is in danger. So now we have a down move and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days bearish inside bar. So be careful here. It's holding on to this green bar pivot here. That's the positive. The negative is you're consolidating to possibly break that. Now, I'm rooting for it to break down because I want to be able to buy more. So don't take it the wrong way. But I think next level is right around 22, at least in the short run, if this pivot does not hold. Platinum here pulling back. That should get to 915. Palladium should get to double bottom. Copper here getting a one-day bounce. I think I talked about 375 yesterday. Yeah, get a little bid there. But that did pull back pretty nicely here. Pattern-wise, it's a little sloppy. And I do think this is bigger picture vulnerable for one more pretty good downdraft, but that could also be a buying opportunity as well. Bitcoin here hanging in there. Again, you can't make up what happened with the SEC. I'm not even going to comment on it because it's what can I say that hasn't already been said? But again, Bitcoin, it got to 48. So we did technically get into the target zone. There's still no approval, right? It was supposed, I was told that it was supposed to be, we're supposed to get news today. And the SEC is supposed to release a statement. What a group of incompetent, whats. This is unbelievable that they can't even get a statement put together here on this whole thing. I don't know what to tell you. Just give it the upside bias to 50K. A lot of people are, catching on to like, oh, it's going to be a sell the news. So maybe it doesn't. Maybe it just holds up. Maybe I'm right in that this has a lot more to do with emerging market inflation than it does to have with a silly ETF. That's kind of the hunch I've been having over the last couple of days. But, I'm not like having super conviction in one way or the other. One thing that you can do, though, is just zoom out on the weekly, and you're going to see this is fine. A little extended from that 20 moving average, so I'd just be careful. All right, market's closing in about 13 minutes. So it looks like we pulled back a little bit here off the highs. Again, let's not make too much out of that. Market's still acting well here. And again, CPI tomorrow, jobless claims, 30-year bond auction. But I'm still giving the market the upside bias here. So it gives me a reason to do otherwise. But right now, I do think we'll go up and test that 480 handle, maybe by mid next week, maybe even by the end of the month. So anyways, guys, kind of wrapped up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. We'll talk to you guys all tomorrow.